Right now, as of February 28, 2026, Iranian missiles are turning the Bahrain petroleum refinery into an inferno. On live maritime maps, over 150 oil and LNG tankers have dropped anchor, paralysed outside the Strait of Hormuz. You have 13 days. That is not a metaphor, not a dramatic opener. It is a literal, mathematical, unavoidable countdown before global supply lines are severed and the price of everything you depend on detonates. But this is not random chaos. What you are witnessing is the precise opening move in a masterclass of surgical economic demolition. Iran's retaliation for the US-led strike was not a single reflexive blow. It was a coordinated opening salvo executed with chilling precision. The first move targeted the nerve center and the economic lifeline in a single moment. Simultaneous strikes on the US Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Manama, Bahrain, and the nearby Bahrain Petroleum Company refinery. The brain of American regional power paralyzed, the island's fuel production crippled. From that epicenter, the attack vector fanned out across the Gulf, methodically targeting the nodes of the entire energy apparatus. In the UAE, strikes hit Abu Dhabi's international airport and adjacent fuel terminals, disrupting aviation, while satellites confirmed thick black smoke billowing from the critical oil storage hub at Fujairah. Across the water in Qatar, the world's largest liquefied natural gas complexes at Ras Laffan were hit, forcing a total production halt. To the west, the campaign reached Saudi Arabia, striking the vast Ras Tanura refinery and export terminal. The geographic and functional pattern was unmistakable. The target selection removes all ambiguity from the motive. Iran is not attempting to win a conventional war on the battlefield. This is a surgical economic demolition. Taking the Ras Laffan complex offline severs a significant fraction of global LNG supply at its source. Hitting Fujairah and Ras Tanura attacks the arterial storage and export capacity for millions of barrels of crude per day. The intent is to systematically dismantle the machinery that powers the globe by demonstrating the capability to choke it at will. And yet, this unprecedented wave of destruction is not the source of the 14-day countdown. That timeline is not political. It isn't based on troop movements or diplomatic ultimatums. It is dictated by the unforgiving physics of finite storage capacity and the unyielding mathematics of inventory depletion. The law we are about to violate is the physics of containment, a simple principle of volume, pressure, and finite space. Every day, the Strait of Hormuz functions as the planet's primary energy artery. It moves nearly 20 million barrels of oil into the global system. That's roughly 20% of global petroleum consumption. With that artery now clamped shut, those 20 million barrels per day have nowhere to go. The pressure must be diverted. The immediate fallback is onshore storage, a network of massive tank farms across the Gulf Coast. But these tanks are not infinite. Pay close attention to the numbers, because this is where the timeline becomes a matter of arithmetic. Analysis from JP Morgan puts the total combined onshore storage for key Gulf producers at approximately 343 million barrels. On paper, that gives the region a buffer of about 22 days. But a systemic crisis is not defined by averages. It is defined by the weakest link. That 22-day figure is a fatal miscalculation. We must look at the individual nodes. For Kuwait, the math is brutal. Its storage capacity will be full in approximately 14 days. For Iraq, it is a catastrophic 2 to 3 days. When the tanks are full, the pumps must stop. There is no other option. This is the critical point. This is not a slow, gradual tightening of supply that the market can adapt to. It is a supply-side cliff edge. The moment Kuwait reaches its physical limit, A forced shutdown of over 3 million barrels per day is triggered instantly, a catastrophic shock the global system cannot absorb. The financial markets will not wait for the last barrel to fill the last tank. The moment this shutdown becomes a mathematical certainty, analysts project a price surge of $50, even $80 per barrel or more. The panic is priced in long before the physics are complete. This 14-day countdown. This is the publicly visible timeline. It's the mechanism everyone will be watching. But for you, as an investor, it is a lagging indicator. A fatal distraction. The event that triggers a portfolio extinction level event happens long before a single tank overflows. It operates on an entirely different, invisible clock. And that is what we must deconstruct next. That invisible clock is not a single mechanism. It is a 3-stage cascade reaction that triggers a market seizure almost instantly. Pay close attention. The moment a choke point breach at Hormuz is confirmed, the physics of oil transport become irrelevant. The first stage is the shutdown of the insurance market. War risk insurance premiums for tankers transiting the Gulf don't just rise, they become unobtainable at any sane price. The artery is clamped shut by underwriters in London, not by warships in the Gulf. Traffic halts. Simultaneously, the second stage ignites. Freight futures explode. The cost to charter a very large crude carrier, a VLCC, skyrockets. We saw a preview of this in a 2026 Wargames scenario where LNG freight rates jumped over 40% in days, long before any physical supply disruption was felt. This is the cost of movement itself becoming a weapon. Then comes the final detonation on the trading screens. Oil traders, reacting to the first two signals, immediately price in a catastrophic risk premium. This isn't speculation, it's cold calculation. Analysis from Oxford Economics and Wood Mackenzie confirms that even a short-term halt at Hormuz forces Brent crude towards $100, even $140 per barrel. This is driven by instant financial repricing, as the 2026 scenario showed that initial premium adds $9 to $18 to every barrel before a single storage facility reports a problem. And do not think the strategic petroleum reserves will save you. The coordinated release of the SPR is a slow, bureaucratic political tool. Financial panic operates at the speed of light. State action moves at the speed of legislation. Panic always wins. This is what nobody is telling you. While everyone else is watching the barrels fill up in Kuwait, you need to be watching the Baltic Dry Index and war risk insurance quotes. That is the real countdown. Your portfolio feels this extinction level event in days, not weeks. The detonation happens on a trading terminal, not at a pipeline terminal. For the seasoned investors here, which of these invisible multipliers, war risk insurance, freight futures, are the most critical leading indicators in your own risk models? Share your framework in the comments. This financial shockwave is the primary blast, but it is, for a few days, contained within the servers of Wall Street and the City of London. The real question is what happens when that kinetic energy breaches the firewall and strikes the brittle, just-in-time systems our physical world depends on. The contagion is about to go systemic. The shockwave from Hormuz does not stop at the water's edge. The contagion spreads globally with a speed that defies political response. The first to seize are the workshops of the world. News takers in Tokyo and Seoul scream energy shock. In Berlin's industrial heartland, the constant hum of machinery begins to fall silent. China, the manufacturing engine for the entire planet, faces immediate power rationing scenarios. Their economies These marvels of efficiency were all built on the brittle promise of just-in-time delivery. That promise has just been shattered. This is where the financial crisis becomes a human crisis, because the price of oil is embedded in literally everything you buy. The plastic in your devices, the fertilizer for your food, the diesel required to ship an apple to your grocery store. The cost of everything, everywhere, begins to soar, not by percentages, but by multipliers. This isn't a problem for governments anymore. It's a crisis at the gas pump and the grocery store for billions of people. And then comes the definitive signal, the one that tells you there is no faith left. In a final desperate act, the major industrial nations announce a coordinated release of their strategic petroleum reserves. Pay close attention. This is not a market-calming measure. This is a wartime lever, an admission of complete system failure. It is a global vote of no confidence in the market's ability to function at all. The world is now staring down the barrel of a 14-day collapse. So what is the official response from the leadership that engineered this catastrophe? What is their plan? A 100-day war. This isn't just a miscalculation. This is a terrifying disconnect from reality. The people in charge are operating on a completely different clock than the one that is about to drive our world over a cliff. So what is this new political timeline? The one so disconnected from the physics of global collapse? The initial plan, the one sold to the public, was for a swift resolution. 4, maybe 5 weeks. A quick, decisive victory. That has failed. Leaks from CENTCOM, now confirmed in reports by both Politico and the New York Times, reveal the new official operational plan. A plan that accelerates operations through at least September. Over 100 days. Pay close attention. Military planners inside the Pentagon are explicitly comparing this strategy to the war in Ukraine. A conflict they promised would last for days, which became a multi-year strategic disaster. That is the model they are now using for victory in the Gulf. This creates a paradox so insane, it is difficult to fully process. Imagine 2 clocks running side by side. On one, the hard physics of reality, a 14-day timer ticking down to a global economic detonation. On the other, political fantasy, a calendar with over 100 days blocked out for a grinding war of attrition. It is a mathematical impossibility, a fatal disconnect. This isn't a strategy. It signals to the world that the leadership in charge is no longer operating based on facts or physics. And that delusion doesn't just guarantee our economic collapse. It's terrifying because of what it forces Iran to do next. When you attempt to topple a regime that has demonstrated this level of strategic calculus, and you show them that you are detached from reality, you do not get submission. You get a final escalation. You force them to draw a new red line. And Iran is about to draw one, not with oil, but with the atom. The stalemate had become intolerable for Washington. The economic clock was out of sync with the military's deployment schedule. Frustrated and detached from the physical reality of the 14-day timeline, the American administration makes its final objective clear. This is no longer about punishing Iran. This is about regime change. But when you corner a power that has demonstrated this level of strategic foresight, you do not get capitulation. You get a final, proportional response. In the face of an existential threat, the complete overthrow of their government, Iran prepares to draw the ultimate red line. The message is not delivered through secret diplomatic channels. It is broadcast for the entire world to see. A senior commander in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps appears on state media and delivers a calm, unambiguous statement. It is a threat not against American forces, nor is it against another oil field. It is a direct and simple promise. Pay close attention to the specific wording sourced via the Times of Israel and Iranian news agencies. If the United States attempts regime change in Iran, Iran will strike Dimona. Dimona, the heart of Israel's undeclared nuclear weapons program. Given Iran's proven capability for precision strikes, demonstrated in the opening hours of this war against hardened targets in Bahrain and Qatar, this is taken with absolute seriousness. This is not a bluff. It is a statement of capability. In a single moment, the crisis has metastasized. It has moved beyond a global economic catastrophe and is now on the verge of becoming a nuclear apocalypse. The world holds its breath, staring at the nuclear brink. But everyone is missing the second bomb, the one that already went off, buried in the data of the same choke point. It's a bomb that will lead not to fallout, but to famine. And its timer is already at 0. The timer is at 0 because the weapon is not a missile, it is a commodity flow. And that flow has stopped. Everyone is focused on the 20% of global oil trapped behind the Hormuz choke point. That is a fatal but incomplete analysis. Pay close attention. The same strait is the artery for an even more critical resource. According to commodity intelligence from Kepler, Hormuz handles approximately 31 to 33% of global traded urea flows and 18% of ammonia, the foundational inputs for nitrogen fertilizer, coming primarily from producers like Qatar. Middle Eastern producers account for nearly 35% of the entire global seaborne trade. The closure of Hormuz thus triggers 2 countdowns simultaneously. Countdown 1 is the energy shock, but countdown 2 is the food shock. This is a cross-linked energy agriculture cascade. Just as the cost of diesel for tractors and transport explodes, the primary chemical input for crop yields evaporates from the market. The disruption is perfectly timed to devastate the Northern Hemisphere's spring planting season. Here is what nobody is telling you. Unlike oil, there are no large-scale strategic fertilizer reserves. There is no buffer. This means the energy crisis will not just proceed, but will immediately compound into a food scarcity crisis. Yield losses and massive consumer price multipliers are not a distant possibility. They are a mathematical certainty baked into the system, set to hit grocery shelves and dinner tables within 30 to 60 days. We have now mapped the mechanisms of collapse: oil, finance, and food. The data points are absolute. The multipliers are inevitable. But there is a final variable in this equation, one that cannot be charted on any graph. It is the human price, the lived reality for the billions of people trapped inside this systemic detonation. And so we arrive at the final variable, the lived reality. With the global system at its breaking point, 2 endgames are on the table. Iran has made its demand clear: a complete withdrawal of US forces from the region. This is a path to de-escalation. The American administration, however, demands total regime change in Tehran. That is a path to guaranteed catastrophe, a global economic detonation that would make the 1973 oil crisis, with its 4.7% GDP decline in the US, look like a minor tremor. But the strategic calculus in Washington and Tehran is an abstraction. The true cost of this conflict isn't measured in barrels of oil or points on the Dow Jones. It is measured in human lives. The Gulf, once a global beacon of safety and prosperity, is now a war zone. There's a memory, a recent one, of what the Gulf was. The feeling of a warm Dubai night, the air still and quiet except for the distant hum of a city that never sleeps. A woman could walk home alone at 4 a.m. without a flicker of fear. That was the dream they built. Proof that the world could build something better.
now that 4 a.m. has been replaced by 2 a.m.
The warm night air is gone, replaced by the cold blue glow of a phone screen in a dark apartment. It's an expatriate worker, one of millions, staring at missile alert apps, his heart pounding with each refresh. The silence isn't peaceful anymore. It's heavy, waiting to be shattered by sirens. This is the reality for the 2.4 million Filipino workers whose government is now planning their forced repatriation. It is the panic that prompted the US State Department to issue emergency evacuation calls for citizens of 14 separate nations. All of it. All that they built. The entire dream is now being held hostage to a war that didn't have to happen. The final price is always paid by the innocent. If you believe that understanding these hidden mechanisms is the first line of defense, that this level of realist analysis is essential for your own personal security, then subscribe. We will continue to decode the events that others refuse to see.